Hey Jody, so I'm going to do a screen video and I'm going to talk to you about everything. So this is a more invasive way to really go over things and to see things and hear things at the same time. So this is your profile in Trainer Eyes. So today you did great with your steps right here. Anything over 6,000 is always going to be the goal, and that was amazing today. So the more active you are in your daily life, on top of your workouts, so even on the days that you don't work out, and the days that you do work out, you want to hit over 6,000 steps always. The more active you are in your daily life, the more you are changing. So you are changing from being having like a low, like sedentary lifestyle to a higher movement, a higher calorie burning lifestyle. So great job on it. So I have your macros set at 1550 calories, and then 120 grams of protein, 155 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fats for the overall day with everything combined. So at the end of the day, you'll see where all of your calories and macros are at with your foods. And you'll definitely want to hit over 1,500 calories just so your body is getting enough nutrients. It's getting enough fuel, it's getting enough calories. And if you're eating too little, then your body isn't going to produce as much results as you really want to. Even though you want to burn more calories and eat less food, that's always the thought that people want to do. But for your particular body weight and your amount of calories that you burn, you want to get around 1,500 to 1,600 calories. So always lead your day with hitting your protein. So if you see at the end of the day that you haven't hit your protein and you're maybe at 70 grams of protein out of 120, you're going to look at your day and say, I need to add in 50 more grams of protein. So that's approximately like 3 servings. Assume 1 serving of protein is about, 15 grams per piece on average. So that's about 3 servings of protein to add in. And if you are close to going over your fats already, then you would have wanted to add it in leaner options instead of higher fat proteins, so you don't go over your fats. So it's all about seeing the foods that you eat and seeing the macros at the end of the day and how you could have done different portions of your foods and what you had to add in more of. So let's get into the calendar. So this is going to show me where you did your MyFitnessPal logging, and that's synced in here. So it's going to show me that you did, let's round up to about 1,200 calories out of 1,550. So you had about 300 calories to still consume. So you had 134 grams of protein. That's awesome. And you were a little under your fats and a little under your carbs. So you had more fats and carbs to consume with that 350 calories actually. I would say 350 calories worth of fats and carbs left. So with looking at what you had left down here, of your carbs, you had about 77 grams remaining of carbs. So that is approximately maybe 2 more servings of carbs, and you're gonna get some fats within those carbs. So I would have done 2 more servings of carbs and called it a day. So you could have done maybe a half cup of oatmeal and a slice of whole grain toast. You could have done anything that was a complex carb and consuming about 2 servings of, and that would have gave you hitting around 155 grams of carbs and getting closer to your calorie mark of close to 1550. So today, or actually that was for yesterday, that was actually really great because you definitely hit your protein and you didn't go over your fats and you had room left for your carbs. So you could have added in like 2 to 3 more servings of carbs and called it a day, and you would have hit your marks almost perfectly, actually. So let's go back and look at another day. So, okay, let's look at Tuesday. So you had about 1,300 calories out of 1,550. And so you were pretty close. So let's see. Let's go down to your macros, and you had more protein to eat and you had more carbs to eat. Your fats were pretty much on point. So anything with your protein and carbs, you want to have the leanest options to choose from to hit your marks that day. If you could have gone back and added in servings to hit your macros. So with your proteins and carbs, you're gonna get fats within those two. So that's why aiming at leaner proteins and leaner carbs, you're gonna better hit your fats and not go over them. So you could have added in, so you had 28 grams of protein left. So you could have had about a 4-ounce piece of chicken. You could have had a cup of yogurt. And for your carbs, you could have had maybe a slice of toast. And you would have hit your marks. So those are both leaner options. And you would have hit your protein, your carbs, and stayed around your fats. And you would have hit your calorie goal pretty spot on. So let's look at your foods. Okay. So the Tim Hortons, Timbits, are going to be higher in fats, obviously. So you could have maybe done half the amount of the Timbits. So you could have saved more of your fats for your other foods because you went over a little bit on your fats. So you could have still had the Timbits but cut down the portion in half to ensure not going over your fats at the end of the day because you still had some carbs and some proteins left to eat. So as I mentioned, you would get some fats with your proteins and carbs. So by cutting the Timbits portion in half, you could have ensured not going over your fats and getting all of your macros in at the end of the day, hitting your goal macros. So sometimes it's about the portion size and not so much about the actual food. I mean, yes, you're not going to want to, yes, you're going to want to focus on not snacking on empty carbs like donuts and Oreos, etc., because they're higher in fats and they're adding in empty carbs and empty calories. So maybe if that's like once a week, that's okay because it's about 80% being on point. But if you're doing things like Oreos every day, that adds up to a lot by the end of the week. So let's get back to looking at your foods. Okay, so your protein shake, that's awesome. You're adding in some kale, some of the PB powder, that's awesome. So your chicken breast, kale, cucumber, green pepper. Okay, so you basically had chicken and veggies. Awesome. Where you placed the bulk of your carbs was in the chicken wrap and the donuts. So you still had carbs left, so you could have added in a serving of carbs for your breakfast and your lunch. So you could have added in maybe a half a banana in your shake. Or you could have had a half a banana after your workout or right before. Just depends on the day. And you could have added in a carb serving for your lunch as well. So actually that was a pretty good day. So that'll sort of explain how to hit your calories and macros a little better. So the more you do these food logs, the more you see what foods were higher in carbs, higher in fats, to where you could have reportioned it, and what you fell short of, like your proteins, and where you could have added them in. And the more you do that, the more you see how to navigate your day. So that's the whole goal with logging, and you do a phenomenal job with logging. It's just the only thing you want to focus on is not leaving anything out of your food log, and making sure the actual portions of your logging is as on point as you can be. So if you did, if you logged a half a cup of rice, but you really had almost a full cup, that makes a difference in your carb intake and your calories. So I always add in a little bit extra calories just to be on the safe side. So I like to go a little bit under the mark for the goal, for setting the goal at 1550, because I really want you closer to 1600 calories, if that makes any sense. So let's look at Mondays. So 1385 out of 550. So you still had about one serving of protein left. You definitely had a lot of carbs left, and you went way over your fats. So you'll want to look at your foods and see what set you over in your higher fats. So probably the brat, the olive or the Oreos. Olive oil is higher in fats. So you could have done smaller portions of the brat. Okay, you only had 2 Oreo cookies. Okay. So anything that was higher in fat, you just want to cut down the portion. So you're saving more fats to place in your proteins and carbs. So like I said, you had quite a bit of carbs left. So you could have added in some rice, some whole grain toast, whole wheat wrap. You could have added in anything that is of the whole grain product family. Quinoa, oats, whole grains, anything of that nature. And you could have added in about one more serving of protein and of a leaner option, because you don't want to keep adding to your fats and going over even more. So hopefully that helps a bit with kind of understanding the macro assessments, because the more you do this and the more you actually see what your foods are, the more you can adjust and do different portions. And basically at the end of the day, seeing where you place your fats. That's what it sort of boils down to. You want to hit your protein mark every day, no matter what. Lead your day with hitting your protein. And then, secondly, seeing where you place all of your fats. Are you eating too many high-fat proteins? Are you eating too many high-fat carbs, which are typically empty carbs, and those are typically higher in fats? So you just want to be more knowledgeable and conscious of where you're placing your fats and if you're hitting your protein. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to go over your, like, a sample meal plan of a perfect day of your macros and calories. And a perfect day doesn't exist. You just want to get very, very close every day of the week. So that is the goal. There is no goal of perfection. The whole goal is to get as close as you can and keep learning how to do better. And if you did really terrible one day, just pick up the next day and do better and see where you did not so good the day before. And the more you do that, the more it sticks with you in your head with how to navigate your day with food. So if you're heading in the break room and you see donuts, if you just can't resist, then maybe eat half of the donut. Because every time you cut down a portion of a higher fat item, it's adding up to a lot that you're saving more carbs and more fats in your day, and at the end of the week you're cutting out a lot of excess fats. So see everything, yes, as a daily thing, but also as an overall weekly thing. So maybe if you went way over your fats and calories on one day, you can sort of make up for it the next 2 days and be really on point and just continue on, not continuing on to keep going over your fats those following days as well. So hopefully that helps, and I'm going to send over another video, as I mentioned, of explaining a perfect day of hitting your macros and calories. So I already sent you the PDF document of it. So what I'm going to do is basically go through it like this and talk through it, because it'll help a lot actually hearing about it and going over it visually and hearing me at the same time, which I learn better that way also. And it just makes you feel more understanding of it. So let me know if this helped in any way and what you took away from it. And let me know what I can explain better if something was sort of confusing. So like I said, great job on hitting your steps. Great job on fitting in, finding time to do your workouts. And we're going to keep working on hitting your macros. Because if anything, you're actually going under your calories a little bit, and we want to make sure you're getting enough calories. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up, and I just wanted to leave it there, and tomorrow I will send you over your next video. All right, have a good evening.